The song that I've chosen is Glad All Over by the Dave Clark Five. Perhaps a controversial choice, but there's a story here, so let me tell you about it. Some of you may know that Glad All Over is the signature song for Crystal Palace Football Club. My story starts back in 1961 in Bradmore Way in Coulsdon, where I grew up for the first 21 years of my life. And down the road from us, 3 doors down, was a family called Tyrrell, Roger and Muriel, their 2 sons and a daughter. One day, one of them, Roger, I guess, came and knocked on our door and said, would Richard like to go and watch football? And I was quite keen on sport at the time, so I jumped at the chance. My parents said yes, and they took me off to Selhurst Park to watch Crystal Palace in the 4th division in those days. And Crystal Palace won, so that was great. So they took me along again another 2 or 3 weeks later, and they won again. And like any youngster, I was hooked. And I've been going ever since 1961. So this is 60 years of watching football, much of it with a member or members of the Tyrrell family. And so I've watched them up and down the country, through thick and thin, getting promoted, getting relegated, winning cup finals and losing cup finals. And believe it or not, last week I was at the Emirates watching Palace play Arsenal, sitting next to Tony Tyrrell. So that's part of my story and the reason why I've chosen Glad All Over. But there's another side to it as well. And again, we have to go back to Bradmore Way in Coulsdon and the early 60s, when again, Mr. and Mrs. Tyrrell knocked on our door and said, would Richard like to go to Sunday school? And I didn't know what Sunday school was, but my parents were delighted at the idea of getting rid of their child for an hour on Sunday afternoon, getting some peace and quiet so they could put their feet up. But I went along and learnt a few Bible stories, quite enjoyed it. And then I progressed, as it were, to Crusader class. This is Purley Crusaders, and Roger and Muriel Tyrrell gave me a lift down there every Sunday afternoon. And while at Crusaders, I went off on one of their camps in the Isle of Wight, and there I became a Christian. From Crusaders, I moved on to proper church, as I called it, Purley Baptist Church, where Roger Tyrrell was the church secretary for many years. Tony Tyrrell succeeded him and was also church secretary for several years. And at Purley Baptist Church, I was baptised, Jane was baptised, and we got married in Purley Baptist Church. And from there, via Haywards Heath, we've ended up at Dorchester Baptist Church, where we've been very happy. But the moral of this story is, never be afraid to issue an invitation. I'm just so grateful to Mr. and Mrs. Tyrrell that many, many years ago, they came and knocked on our door. Once for football, once would I like to go to Sunday school, and the results have stayed with me ever since. Thank you.